uniform is what I call it.
Q-snack.
5 egg.
Q-snack.
Captain's log. Captain's log.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
All right. Right. Whoops. There we go. Sound. There we go. Sorry. There you go. Fat music, no HAL. There we go. I fixed it. Why did that not work? So there's a button for this. Why was the okay, hold on. Button work, button not work. Okay, there we go. All right, now it works. Sorry. Hi. Anyways, what I was saying was, welcome. So this is I'm trying to do the morning shows in a more relaxed setting. So I'm just doing this from my desk, not the green screen setup I have, which looks currently is sort of a single use property. It is so intense sitting in front of those monitors, even though I do have an extra monitor that we had in the garage that had been retired, and I'm using that as an external source for getting extra, because I'm just running this off the laptop, that I needed to basically set up the travel version of the show, and I needed a way to demo that to make sure it worked before I went on the road. And so I started building it on my desk, and here we are. Too much story, not important, but there we go. And then where did this go? Oh yeah. And then I had the Restream chat up on here so I could look at it. But yeah. And I'm definitely gonna have to work on the lighting in here because it's a little contrasty. But welcome. Hey, it's working. That's all that matters. We got a show. We're actually present. So yeah, the lighting in here is a little green. I don't have green screen turned on this thing, do I? I don't think so. Anyways, so hi and welcome. Glad to have you guys here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see. Let me try and put this where I can look at it. I'm gonna have to find a way to move the camera so that it looks, like right now. This is me looking at the chat, which is a little weird. Can I bring the Soldano Ampa on as a guest? Yes. That's actually at the other studio. The video's all right. It's working good. Okay. Well, hopefully, piece by piece. That's my programmable camera rig over there that I used for some of the sketches for Sexy Liberal and for it's a Kessler, and for the video that I did for the music video that I directed, because I couldn't direct it and be in it at the same time as far as camera moves, so I programmed it. Anyways, oh yes, so there's plenty of stuff to cover today. Oh, child. So, ooh, child. I'm sure. Well, let's see. We will cover this. Yes, I'm very white. It's true. Big, yes. So posters behind me currently. You've got Fletch, Vibes, Lab Rats, and Man with Two Brains. And I realize the Man with Two Brains one is a little, it's got a distance issue with the other ones. I put these up as soon as we moved in, and I haven't touched them since. And so I need to do some organizing in here. And Chip keeps knocking my books over right here, this bookshelf. He jumps. I have to leave this garbage can open most of the time because he will jump on it and then try to walk across here, and he's far too big, and he knocks my books over, and then the that's not going anywhere. That's a little piggy bank of Camden's actually. So I just put it there because it's heavy. But this plant will go, and so I have to lean all the books that direction so that it takes more effort for Chip to knock them off. So there you go. Yeah, it's it. They're there to frame Chip. Hey Siri, turn off the basement lights. You're getting a reflection in one of the, yeah. That makes it kind of weirdly dark. Yeah, I'll have to fix that. It doesn't look bad though. I mean, it's pretty solid. So maybe what I'll do is, because I think I have a row of, like, yeah, because it looks a little, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I'm just gonna be messing with this. This is part of the morning show. You know what I mean? We just put this together, and here you go. Let's see. Let's go to let's turn that guy on, and we'll turn on I think that's the wrong one though. Yep. Okay, that has zero effect. That's the wrong one. That's the one I was trying to get off. That's a little better. And yeah, the rest of it I will have to make happen. Okay, that's not gonna do it. All right, cool. That'll do for today. Sure. It's a little grainy, but it'll be all right. Yeah. So hi, welcome to the show. Good morning. And having a little coffee this morning in the positive version of the Z. I will not let the Russians claim it. I'll just have to, like, until the war is over, I just have to hold it with my left hand. And I hope everybody's well. Where you from? What you doing? What's up? How's it hanging? Um, maybe if I put the if I mounted my iPad with the chat like right here or right or you know what I need? You know what I need, kids? I need to take the teleprompter thing that I've been complaining about Don Jr. not having for a long time, and I need to put that there and then use my iPad to play the chat up here so I can watch the chat go by. No, that's madness, because then I would never, it would be overwhelming. There's so many people. I don't know. We'll figure something out. In the meantime, I adore you and welcome and thanks for being here. And this is the morning show, so we're a little laid back, especially today because I'm messing around with stuff. I even need to like add stuff as we go along because I'm still building this setup. And good morning, everybody. Hi, Oregon. Morning. Doing well. Wiring a cabinet at work. That's cool. Yes, a triple prompter. That's right. Rainy, Illinois. Lovely. The Big Nickel, Sudbury, Ontario. Lovely. Working from home. Get a few light. Yeah, I have a couple. Um, and they're just mainly for that side of the room because that's where basically right over there is where we watch movies together as a family. They're on this side of my desk, and I'll show you guys once it's clean. I'm doing laundry today, so I'm not showing you my laundry. It's just not done. I'm not. But there's not a wall behind you where you guys are. It's a couch, and the TV set is over there. So I'm basically my desk is in the middle of the room to try and give myself some depth in this. But also it helps me to like work out in the open so that I can move around. And this is actually also where I make music more than anything else because I used to do it in the studio in the little tiny office that I've converted into our little studio where we do the show every day, um, which is kind of like a half a kid's bedroom size. It's like seriously, it's like 8 by 11. It's not big, but I was like, oh, I'll record in here because I can shut the door and not bother anybody. And quite frankly, between with headphones and stuff like that, the sound quality these days is so good on AirPods, for example, that I can record everything but vocals and not have a problem. Meanwhile, vocals, on the other hand, here I'll show you this. This is just off camera. Wow, happen on this thing, just so you know. Yeah. So I've got some of the audio bounce not going this way, but yeah. And then of course I finally get to use the chair that Summer got me for Christmas. Summer and Ethan got me this Captain America chair for because they know I'm a fan um, for Christmas, and I assembled it, which is my other job on Christmas, right? Um, yeah. So let's see. And there's so much stuff going. Yeah, it's very fancy. I'm a big fan of this chair as well. It also, curiously enough, has let's see, it has a hold on, quit, and then I got to sign out of something. Log out. There you go. Think I'm doing an update on an old iPad that's been defunct for quite some time, and hopefully out here I can convert that into my sort of secondary thing for running clips if I want to, so I don't overtax the computer. That's always been the issue. So pardon me while I type in passwords and have a sip of coffee. Hi, how you doing? South Point, Ohio. Let's see. Hold on. Beachy waves, lovely. Let's see. South Point, Ohio, leave my house and turn right. Go across the bridge, be in Kentucky. Turn right and have three bridges. Huntington, West Virginia, my hometown. Yeah, it's people don't recognize the kind of connection that those states have and the overlap. And that, quite frankly, we go by states because we've defaulted to the personality of those states based on who gets elected there and whatnot. But anybody who's spent any time in Eastern Kentucky or West Virginia, you know that those places have almost nothing in common with Louisville or Frankfort in Kentucky or Richmond or any of the other cities in Virginia or West Virginia. That terrain often has more to do with the personality of of an area and the people than the state borders that were laid out, uh, uh, over 100 years ago, right? I mean, that's true of a lot of places. Hence, our point about Afghanistan being a tribal desert of 12 different tribes, not really a country by the standards that everybody else seems to have, and that the borders of that country are the end of other countries, not the beginning of it. So, hi, Auntie Sarah. Oh my God, it's me. By the way, don't forget to, oh, that's nice. I'm gonna move this over here. Boom. It's true. Hi there. Um, let's see. I should put a, that's the other thing too, is I'm just gonna update the show as I'm going today. Part of the morning show today will be like adding little bits of stuff that I want to include in the show, both on my little my stream deck over here, which is trapped under other stuff. This little guy right here, which is when I'm on the road, it's what I run the show off of. Um, I have to say, I think these things are like 169 bucks, I want to say, for this size version of it. If this replaces if anybody's ever done any kind of like live streaming, even back in the early 2000s, but much less a television studio, this would replace in a large television studio easily $100,000 worth of gear. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that technology is deflationary by nature. as it gets smaller, cheaper, easier. It replaces something far more complicated, more hold on, more less efficient energy wise. Is this like trapped under this wire? What's happening? That just the fact that this is just some LED lights and some control buttons, and and what you could trigger it to do. The only thing missing on this thing from an old television studio point of view is a crossfade handle, which was manual so that you could switch, like do a crossfade live. That was a big deal to do it on live television because you could give it some art, some feel, some timing to it. Nowadays, you could have, I could have 4 buttons of a crossfade in different timings and go, quick, medium, long, and end fade, and just pick which one, and it would do that timing whenever I cued it. And so it eliminates the need for that bar entirely, which was literally a physical transition from video signal to video signal. And like, I know I'm nerding out, but this is ridiculous. The fact that these things exist is just stupid. It would have changed everything about, like, before I got TalkSoup, when I was doing like sketches, when I was editing them on an old Mac 140 AV with my buddy Rob had a Media 100 system in it, and I would keep it running in exchange for being able to use it. That was the arrangement, and so I could edit my sketches in these things. And if I wanted to edit a sketch together that was more than 4 minutes long, it was basically impossible. And now I remember buying my first hard drive for recording music that was strictly for that. It was a 780 hard drive, basically 800 but 780 usable, right? And I pay it was $785. It was basically $1 a megabyte. I want you to just like think about what and just even downloading a picture. Remember when you used to, like, it would take a while. You wouldn't even know what the picture was till you got halfway through, right? Anyways, so in this process, I feel like I got to gussy up this frame. There's just nothing in it. I have to have, okay, first of all, let's do um, let's see, we'll do a border on this thing, and the border should be, yeah, white's fine. And then shadow, and then the corners are good, and then the margin should be a little smaller, and then the background, I don't know, like the background colors on these things are a little hmm, okay. Oh, I see, that's why. Why was the opacity set at 50%? Super weird. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Add, there you go, and then make this a little smaller, and then put this right here. There you go. Look at that. So much better. Now you know what you're watching. Super. That's great. And then, of course, subscribe. See, I made one of those earlier. That's left over from me being on the road. Um, I'll add stuff as we go along. I don't even think I have the alert box in here right now, do I? Nope, I don't. That's just rude. There's probably super chats happening, and I'm not even noticing. Which is rude and terrible. Let's see. All right, we'll go to here and this guy, and we'll add it, and we'll shrink it down, and we'll put it up in this corner because it's nice. And voila, we'll see what happens. Oh, and let's see. Shall we check enough messing around. I got to move to my next scene anyways. Let's move to There, did it kill the, now's it back? Sorry. I don't know why that was. That's probably what happened on the transition of the other scene. I see. It automatically transitions to the other thing, and I think it didn't on the first one, and I shut it to do the thing off. So that's my fault. Okay. Lesson learned. Thanks, Egon. Important safety tip. Yeah, the cat kicked the cable. No, we're not in the business of, there's enough to blame Chip for without making things up. All right, here we go. Here's our trends today. Okay, first of all, can I just say for the record, a couple of things. What in the world is that? Kentucky Brown Jackson has been sporting a patriotic fit to her confirmation hearing socks featuring historical figures. That's cool. Kennedy, Ben Franklin. I guess that's Jefferson, or that Washington. That's Washington. Washington, Ben Franklin, and I don't know. His ankle shapes are funny because that could be Oliver North. It's hard to say. Okay. Schumer's entered the hearing room, sitting in the audience behind the judge. Okay, he's watching. Here's a couple of things. Can I address a couple of things in this ridiculousness? First of all, she's doing awesome. And that's right. I don't have the Venmo up. Thank you, Rose. She's doing fantastic. This is terrific. She's I like, no complaints. Very smart. Everything's good. Across the. Oh, and by the way, let's see if we look at that. How about that? How about the Cash App one? I don't have the Venmo one up on this one. But I will. So that's the trade-off, I suppose. Maybe it's, it's Cash App Wednesday. Support the show. If you have Cash App, take a picture of that little thing over there and send me pay for this cup of coffee, not the mug. Don't go crazy. Just the coffee itself. Jim, just saying. If we had $1 for every show from half the people that were here, it'd be great. We'll work it out. A boy can dream, can he? You know what I mean? Pardon me for trying to turn this into a real show. Anyways, so in this, she's getting asked a lot of stupid questions, and Chuck Grassley, when he was doing his thing today, looked like he was reading from the hiring document for McDonald's. Oh, and God, is she? Can you provide a definition for the word woman? What she's looking for is adult human female. And again, adult human female is an adult human female. You can an adult human female can be said by some to not be a woman, like Marsha Blackburn. It falls into the category in some cases as lady. I have no problem with the belief that Judge Jackson could define an adult human female by saying an adult human female. But insofar as whether an adult human female is a woman or not, in both their gender identity or their behavior, in the same way that you can say he's a guy, but he's not a man. He's an adult male, but he's not a man. Right? We're used to that phrase. But there is no codified legal definition of man in terms of adult male. It just isn't. I mean, this is, yeah, right. But like, can you define broad for everyone here in terms of its definition when used in a bar in the 30s? Right. So, but and also, I don't know why Marsha Blackburn looks like someone woke her up in the back of a van next to Judge Janine every time. So, but yeah, oh no, that's not. That Chuck Grassley was reading out loud from, he was doing that bullshit. He had a copy of a document, and he was reading questions off of the. Now, Judge Jackson, at any time would you vote to do such a thing as this? If you would not do such a thing as this, are there other situations where such a thing as this might occur in such a thing as this? circumstance. At any time in the past or in the future, do you have any intention of doing something you haven't done yet, but I'm afraid you might do? Lower the vim. Oh, I beg your pardon. I will drag this down here, put it over in the corner so that it does not affect things. And then I'll put this down here. How about that? Is that better? So I don't get to whip out my Chuck Grassley impersonation very often. It's sad. It's kind of a good one. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like it's like somebody who's in an, I have every intention when I'm old of speaking like this. Just so you know. When Hal Sparks is 212, God damn it, this is how I'm going to speak. I'm Chuck Grassley, and I need your vote almost as much as I need a colonic. So he was reading from her stuff. Marsha Blackburn saying her bullshit. Lindsey Graham is posturing. He's ultimately going to vote for her. By the way, almost everything that Lindsey Graham is saying in court, I'm dead serious, or in court, in the committee hearings, is I don't know what he says in court, except Your Honor, he was awake when I left the hotel room. Sorry. So everything he's saying is basically like, these people were treated like crap, but we're not going to treat her like crap, even though she's qualified in a way that the other people weren't qualified, and they weren't treated like crap because people had a bias against them, but because they were, there was a fear that they were crappy people and that they shouldn't be on the Supreme Court. That might be, or that they were biased or trying to carry it. Okay. So, and again, he's just basically saying, Kavanaugh was treated terribly by these people, and therefore, but I'm not going to do that to her, which is his way of posturing and still voting for her. So it's all for show. And at this point, most of these folks, when they get to this point, there's enough savvy these days to know that they wouldn't get to the committee hearing to actually this part. They're not going to get borked. Nobody's getting borked anymore. They're clearing the road beforehand. If anybody doesn't make it through their interviews with all these senators, they're not going to get to this part. That's when you get their nomination pulled. But I mean, they're well ahead of this curve when they present people, and she's terrific, super smart. I mean, watching her describe, or explain the law to some of these Republicans is like, I think I tweeted this earlier. It's like watching Mary Curie explain the difference between polonium and radium to an alligator. It's ridiculous. Anyways, she's going to get confirmed, is all I need to say. And so all the wailing and gnashing of teeth and the posturing and shit. And this is anybody who remembers Clarence Thomas hearing and arguably Kavanaugh and Merrick Garland didn't get one, but most of these hearings are exactly like this, with one side being the ass and the other side pushing through. Like, this is all just for show. All right. War in Ukraine continues as Russia strikes besieged city of Mariupol. Yeah, they're surrounding these people and doing this, and they note from Mariupol besieged by the Russian invaders passed to Dima. Dima, your mom died on March 9th, 22. She died quickly. Then the house burnt down. Dima, forgive me. I couldn't save her. I buried her near the kindergarten. I love you. Fucking hell. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is largely stalled on the 28th day of assault on Wednesday. This is exactly how it's supposed to go, according to, the usual suspects. Gaining a foothold in Ivankiv, of course, would be sweet. It's a very important point of the path between the Chernobyl zone and northwestern Kiev. Sorry, Phil. Even more important is Borodyanka on the Warsaw Highway. The whole Russian group would end up in a world of shit. Yeah, they're surrounding them right now. I saw a map earlier. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, opened the continent's largest fertilizer plant this week as war in Ukraine cuts off supplies from Russia, threatening a global food crisis. Yep. part of the reshoring that's going on in the world is the recognition that there are other places where we can get this stuff that we need. We've just been getting it out of habit from a lot of these countries like Russia and China. And once that habit is broken, usually by actions that they themselves are responsible for, everybody else is like, we have lithium, we have fertilizer, we can grow wheat, we have oil. Like, yeah. Sorry. Sorry, Al, I disagree. They're in fine form this time. Which ones? I mean, this is exemplary, and the current stack of Republicans are awful people, but it's not going to change the outcome of Judge of KBJ getting their job. This dude said sending international peacekeepers to Ukraine would lead to direct clash between Russia and NATO forces. We know this. We don't need to, dum dum. I swear to God, these guys are just on a bullet train to like a robot war future. Don't send any of your troops in. Okay, can we send in 10,000 Boston Dynamics dogs with sniper rifles attached to them, run by a teenager in Nevada who thinks they're playing a video game like Ender's game? Jesus. Greek foreign minister to personally deliver humanitarian supplies to Mariupol. This is where it's really getting bold, and I commend these world leaders that are personally putting themselves in harm's way, delivering goods and services to besieged cities because the Russians can't fire on them. In the same way that there are a lot of Ukrainians who were standing out in the road blocking tanks and Tiananmen. And then there are uh, like aid workers and the like, bringing things in and basically daring Russia to fire on them. Who thinks Graham was high on something? I think it's that he seemed to like he'd had a couple of cocktails with lunch yesterday. I don't know that high qualifies. I think he's just dumb. Think attributing Lindsey Graham's behavior is rude to high people. It's bigoted towards people who are currently blasted out of their fucking gourd. It's unfair. Russian forces remain stalled across much of the Ukraine battlefield. The fact that they're calling it a battlefield, it's not a battlefield. It's the fucking country. 4 weeks after the invasion began, the latest Western intelligence reports and military analyses indicate, but they still have wreaked devastation in parts of the country. Yeah, because they're firing bombs indiscriminately and unloading on people. Of course they are. Mm-hmm. This isn't to say consumers aren't bracing for a crisis. They clearly are. It's just a question of scale. Consumer sentiment has fallen to its lowest level since February 2016, the post-Crimea oil shock. But economists are expecting the worst crisis since the 90s. It's even worse than the public thinks. Russians are still poorer than they were in 2013 by around 10% if you discount Putin's one-off pre-election giveaways last summer. Real wages. Okay, this is in Russia. I see. Despite Russian reporting sugar, paper, and medicine shortage, panic buying, waves of emigration, and exodus of Western firms, a new central bank survey hints that Russian households are not yet fully braced for the crisis, which has already started to unfold. Yeah, well, they've been bullshitted to think it's not that big a deal. Inflation expectations. How fast Russians expect prices to rise have hit their second highest ever at 18.3%. That's how people's expectations. But analysts expect inflation will come closer to 30% in the coming months, and expectations are normally well ahead, 2 times of actual inflation. Motherfucker. Yikes. This is by the way, this is expectations. Expectations are one thing because you have to take them with a grain of salt because they're not getting all the information. We have in the West, we actually have worse expectations about a lot of circumstances because we get all the bad news. We're allowed to criticize our government. We're allowed to talk about how shitty things are. And so we expect things to be way worse than they are. And then when they turn out not to be so bad, we're not even relieved. We're just like, well, of course. It's very strange. It's a psychological effect of how our news works. Over there, though, they get bullshitted about stuff. Same thing happens in China. Everybody's told everything's fine, and you're being told it's a story. The West is trying to mess with you. This not everything's fine, and then so their expectations of how bad things are going to be are usually less than the circumstance, which in a lot of ways explains Putin's cabinet and how they're describing how the war was going to go and how it's currently going to him. It fits right in with that. You can't bullshit the public and not expect yourself to be bullshitted. There's a wonderful comfort in being lied to, I suppose, all the time. And you don't, it's the oligarchs get the really good lies. Everybody else gets the pittance lies, right? So while economists have doubled or tripled their forecasts on how fast prices are going to rise over the next 2 months, Russian households have only adjusted their upwards by about a third. Right. So there's going to be a snap in this, and this is how change occurs in Russia, and same thing in China. Is that it's a long wind up and then like that. Ours, we boil and drop and boil and drop. That's how democracies work. They get noisy over periods where people are divided, but then they come together and they do this kind of accordion effect in public opinion because you're able to hash all these things out. Whereas these others, the way the Russian society is run, the way the Chinese society is run, to some degree, the same thing about the society in Dubai, UAE, and other places. There's this level of like everybody buys the bullshit until spike, right? Till it falls off a cliff. And that seems to be more in line with the initial statistics we have. Weekly data shows inflation is at its highest level since 1998. The country's annual inflation target was surpassed in the first 14 days of the war. They are. It's a question of scale, right? They think it's going to be like they also think this is going easily. So it's quite reasonable that they would believe that this is similar to what happened in Crimea, that it's going to be relatively quick. It's noisy. They've been fighting in the eastern part of Ukraine for a long time, and it hasn't affected their prices. So they might think the average Russian that does buy the bullshit, they might actually think, well, this is going to go, you know, this will straighten itself out somehow. Yikes. I don't know that this computer can actually restart. It just gave me one of those panic screens. That's not good. It's very old, so we'll see. I've literally got a laptop sitting here that, yeah, your computer restarted because of a problem. Press a key or wait a few seconds to continue starting up. Okay, I'll just wait. Deal with what you got to deal with. This is not. All right. It's giving me one of those like sad Mac faces. All right. There. Okay, now it worked. Good. Whew, that was scary. And by the way, welcome. This is HAL SPARKS Mornings Mega Worldwide. We're just sitting here having a cup of coffee, talking about what's trending in the world of the socials and the medias. I even have headlines today because I was like, hey, let's give it a try. Meanwhile, let's see. Russians are still poorer by 10%. We saw that part. Meanwhile, the central bank is trying to prepare people for a new perestroika, massive structural, painful transformation in the Russian economy. Okay. God damn it. So, all the while that Glenn Beck and his ilk, including Rusty Rockets, who's, Russell Brand has now started doing these videos too, on the Great Reset is coming. The Great Reset. Here it comes. It's the Great Reset. You will own nothing and be happy, according to the German who runs the World Economic Forum, where, even though a forum is a discussion place, not an actual legislative body, we will dictate. Right. The Daleks at the World Economic Forum apparently are going to change your life and do this Great Reset thing. Meanwhile, and the same people who are like, Putin's misunderstood. He doesn't have any choices here. You got to understand, his back's up against the wall. He's anxious. He was given anxiety by this whole thing. Every time NATO you know, when the EU started playing nice with another country, started getting nervous that we're going to invade Russia, even though we want nothing from them. So they are literally in Russia while Jimmy Dore and Rusty Rockets and Aaron Mate, all that crowd are clamoring about, and Glenn Beck are clamoring about the Great Reset over here. Russia's actually doing it. They're actually doing it. Thanks, Ford. I try. Exterminate. All right. Russian economy facing massive structural change. Fucking yikes. I'm gonna move this over here so you guys can. I'll shrink it down. Shrinky dink. Shrink in the shrinky dink. Shrinky dink. Oof. Central bank says. The Russian economy faces a new perestroika. Russian media is under attack. This is from the Moscow Times. Maybe later. I got one of those. Yeah. As it is forced to adjust to life under heavy sanctions and international isolation. No, it isn't. Sorry, Moscow Times has been fairly good in covering this stuff until they've just been, you know, scooped up. They're not all their forced to adjust to life under heavy sanctions and international isolation. No one is forcing you to do that. You could simply call your Duma together by by public outcry and have your president step down and have a new election and let Alexei Navalny run. No one's forcing you to be assholes. And as a matter of fact, if you want to know how you end this forced adjustment and isolation? Get the fuck out of Ukraine. Get the fuck out. You're not being forced to adjust to anything. You are forcing the Ukrainians to adjust to you shelling their fucking shopping malls. Eat a bag of frog assholes, you creeps. All right. The regulator opted to hold interest rates at 20% in a scheduled rate setting meeting. 20%. Ours are 0.025% right now, and everybody's talking about half a percentage point is going to crash the fucking Dow. Are you shitting me? 20%. Please tell me again. You asshole. Please tell me again, somebody, how Russia and China and Saudi Arabia and Kazakhstan and fucking Turkey or somebody are going to get together and create a Bitcoin-like currency that they all work with because fuck the dollar. All right. Do you think China wants to deal with Russia's 20% interest rate for the creation of money in their system? What? And do you think Russia wants to deal with the fact that China will go, I don't know, let's just make some. We don't even operate on that situation. We don't have to loan it into existence at all. We just make it. Get out of here. Who are these people? Yes. Oh, we got 666 people in the chat room. I'm so excited. 666. Don't forget, 666 super chat would really help us out. I'm just saying. Who are the... Oh, thanks. See, just like... let me get this. I got to move this screen over here so I can see this. There you go. Thanks. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. HP 111. Thank you for that. Lovely. And then let's see here. Sorry you're late. You were visiting the in-laws. It's okay, moms. I'm glad you're here. People are pretty stupid these days, Hal. You never know. They're not stupid on that kind of scale. Again, what are you to look? Do you have to be an economic genius to know that you absolutely have no interest in sharing your economic status with another oligarch group? This end of the petrodollar bullshit is hilarious. Stop it. The only fallback that exists, genuinely, is the euro. And the euro's a fucking mess. because they have to deal with the European Union and all their financial ministers. That's effectively what they're talking about. They're going to create another euro that's even more scattered than the euro and the decision makers around the value of the euro and all that shit. And then these are people who want to be leaders of their country for life. Do you think people who want to be leader of their country for life with no democratic input from the people in their own country that are their own race, their own religion, their own people, you think those folks are going to acquiesce to the wants, needs, and desires of another country run by another asshole like that? Are you out of your fucking mind? Who thinks this is true? I'm sick of this whole conversation. It comes up all the time. It's so stupid. It's just, oh, Amy, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat, Amy. Um, let's see. Wasn't 20% around the inflation rate for Italy during the euro? The 20% they're talking about is the interest rate for the production of money in their economy. This is different than the inflation rate in the country. You Here's the thing, fucking hell. So one of the ways you tamp down on inflation is you raise interest rates, because that lowers the amount of money in the in supply, because people aren't going to borrow money if it costs a lot of money to borrow money, right? If you're the reason why people borrowed a ton of money, or why we lowered our interest rates to near zero, was so that people could borrow money and it wouldn't kill them to pay it back, so they could keep the money flowing in their systems and keep companies afloat during the pandemic and other situations. And we've never quite gotten back up to the zone. We've had similar rates to this in the 70s and in the 60s, right? But where do you go from fucking 20%? This is loan shark. This, understand, the central bank in Russia is charging the same rates that we are offended that check cashing places and high interest rate credit cards charge poor people. I mean, and those banks that charge 20% for people who are, whose credit's fucked and they may never pay it back, and so to compensate for the fact that the vast majority of people that they're lending to um uh are you know are not going to pay it back, they charge an exorbitant. Thank you, Cynthia, appreciate that. Thanks for the 666 super chat. Help us to buy 666 Fifth Avenue. Thank you, Crystal. Yes, I love the idea of all meeting in New York. Sorry, this was bigger. Hold on, shrink, move this over here. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to. There's Crystal's icon. Some of these are bigger than others. Some of the ones that have messages. There you go. Try to put that across there. There you go, Crystal. Thank you. That do you understand that? I mean, think about that for a fucking second. The Russian central bank is charging check cashing strip mall rip-off prices, loan shark prices, to try and tamp down inflation, which has nothing to do with monetary policy, motherfucker. Okay, even here, even with the Fed talking about, they got to raise interest rates to tamp down inflation. Okay, inflation doesn't exist right now because there's too much money in the system. That's bullshit. We did not print a ton of money during the thing. We have not printed a ton. That whole story is bullshit. It always has been. Central banks don't print money. They credit banks with the ability to loan it into existence, and that money that's loaned into existence, when it's paid back, earns interest. It just pays the federal government less interest when it's made, if it's done at a lower rate. So politicians who want to pay for their programs, for example, kind of get pissed off when the interest rate gets too low, because that money that is loaned into existence, the interest rate that comes back on it is so low that it's not something you could build a program on. And in the case of 2008, for example, the federal government and the Fed made money on all the loans given out. Even with the losses that occurred, the US government and the taxpayer made money on the 2008 crash. Let me say that again. And the profit of that went to programs and to pay off some debt and shit like that. So, but one of the areas where people go, there's a couple of reasons for inflation. One is supply shock. That's where we are right now. There's less shit floating around. There's boats that have to take it. There's like shipping is more expensive because there are fewer containers and there are fewer crews and stuff, especially stuff leaving China. And people have been so reliant on a lot of stuff from China that immediately crashed a lot of the stuff. But even European shipments were slowed down because a lot of these countries won't allow people to crew a boat unless everybody's 100% COVID free, and because you're bringing it to another country, and so people wouldn't let it into their ports. So back and forth, these big arguments between countries and their ports were, well, if you're going to send a boatload of COVID our way, we're not going to let them come here. Well, we're not going to send stuff if you can't. Our standards are different than your standard. All that bullshit that we dealt with for real, dealing with a genuine circumstance that we were all in together, is why and why inflation was partially caused by, beside which fits more into the conversation about used cars. Used cars are a huge part of why the CPI has gone up for the American consumer, right? Used cars. That's the big thing. Used cars. Well, why? Well, because people had money and they were able to buy it during the pandemic. They were able to go, okay, I can upgrade. I'm not getting a new car, but I'm getting one that's new to me. Because of stimulus, I had a down payment. That's one of the areas where they had money sitting around because they weren't doing anything. They weren't going anywhere. Some of the people that had money to put down on cars because they didn't eat out at restaurants. They didn't go to movies. They didn't go to shows. So they had this money they were sitting on that was accumulating over months. And they're like, my car's a piece of shit. I should get a new car. Right? It's pretty standard. So in this process, you have a, one second. In this process, you have that would be a situation where they would say inflation is the reason people have more money to spend, and therefore the prices are going up to meet that fact that they have more money. That's the one area, used cars, where you can say that's about money supply. But oil and gas, it is not. We don't have any of that shit. Let's see, Stalin relaunch. What is this? All right. And then I'm going to have to do this whole thing. Click unlock to make changes. There we go. Everything's reloading on this thing. So, anyways, all that aside, most of this is supply shock. That's how you do it. And so, the only solution for supply shock for inflation is to increase supply or lower demand, I suppose. So in the case of electric cars in the United States, that's demand destruction. We are eliminating, gas guzzling cars over the years. There's an element of demand destruction that's going on. And then the increase in supply is what most Republicans are talking about, because they don't want the demand destruction part to win. They want the sales part, because that's their donors, right? Anyways, the long and short of it. Also, there's some trust issues. Also, there's the climate change denial, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of shit in there, but that's essentially it. But one of the ways, when it's monetary inflation, which is distinctly different from a supply shock or something like that, where everybody's rushing to get because the price of Xboxes is not inflation when there are few of them, because people were buying them for retail and reselling them for an exorbitant amount of money, right? That no one would call that inflation. That's just price gouging, because you can take advantage of the fact that people are willing to pay to get to the front of the line, right? So, let's see, but my 10 yachts, I need my yachts, right, my precious. So in this case, when it is a monetary reason, which it isn't in the United States and largely isn't in Russia, one of the ways you handle that is you increase the interest rate so you have less money in the economy because people are less apt to borrow it. So they have to either make do with less, and then people go, well, people have less money, so the prices have to come down because if I'm going to sell this, I can't. This is all I can get for it, right? I'm not going to be able to get the highest price I want. I'm going to have to taper that over time, right? And I got to tell my suppliers that I don't have enough money to pay that for that, and then that pushes prices down over time. That's the inflationary rate. But once you hit 20% as your rate, you got nowhere to go. You're in Venezuela territory, kids. You're in, your money is toilet paper zone. So schedule rate meaning following an emergency hike in late February, which was enormous, if I recall. It's like 10%, some stupid fucking jump. The Russian economy is entering a phase of large-scale structural readjustment. That's adorable. That's like saying Jeffrey Epstein is entering a long period of neck realignment. Was that too much? Too soon? Too late? What is it? Somebody needs to go up on stage and tell a joke and go, too late? Because that's usually closer to the truth. All right. Russia's inflation rate has been running at its highest level in 24 years in the weeks following the invasion of Ukraine. Oh, I see. See, if it said by Ukraine, you'd almost have a point for your whining. But since it's of, this is a mess of your own fucking making. Piss right off. Restructure, right? It's so good. I get distracted when I'm reading the chat. Can't follow what HAL is saying. That happens. I understand. U.S. debt is a symbol of faith from the rest of the world. Yeah, it is. Exactly. I mean, and we have a trustworthy system. Look at that. 318 thumbs up on a morning show where we're just relaxing, having coffee, talking economics. All right. This will be accompanied by a temporary but inevitable period of higher inflation, it added. Do you think do you think Tucker Carlson's going to run a big article about temporary inflation? No? No? Probably not. You don't think? In Russia? They're going to rush to the defense of Putin. A press conference trying Governor Elvira Nabulina seriously. I mean, does she have a throne and a long black dress with like tassely drapey things on it and big eyebrows? Elvira Nabulina. Everything's a reboot. Said the hike in rates to 20% would be unwound when the economic situation allowed. The economic situation. It's an economic situation. That's all it is. It's an economic situation. Our invasion of a sovereign country and our strafe bombing of their apartment buildings and their maternity wards and their fucking malls. It's an economic situation. Giant raccoon in your backyard in the daylight. Wes, that's amazing. I had one. My kid, my girl, and my mom and I were in the car coming back from eating out, and I was like, I thought there was a dog in the front yard. This is at the old house in Venice, and we had a little wall around the house, one of those little, you know, like 2-footer walls where the neighbor's kid would sit there and make out with his girlfriend, and whatever. And he he eventually had to go back to rehab, and I came outside, and he was crawling under a car to try to avoid them, and they had to drag him out by his feet. It was fun, neighborhood shit. Anyways, so we drive home, pull into the driveway, and I'm like, "There's a dog in the yard, so everybody stay in the yard. Everybody stay in the car until I can deal with this." And because I knew it was a dog because it was the still 2 foot, or I guess 3 foot fence. You could see its back over the fence. So the height of its back was about 3.5 feet. And then we pull up and it's a fucking gigantic raccoon. And I'm like, yeah, everybody get on top of the car. All right. So back to the Russian economic situation. High interest rates are a temporary anti-crisis measure. When the situation stabilizes, rates will be cut. Fucking hell. Stabilizes. Well, it's nice to know that Baghdad Bob has a new job. Kremlin warns against panic buying as food prices rise fast. Really? The good old Moscow Times. How long before we see these shelves on Fox being used intermittently as proof of the prices of American goods? Like, look at that, $153 for a fucking can of good old American borscht. I think that's pork and something. I don't know. That's a can. There's a can of cow over here, and then there's a can of chicken. Sugar shortages have been reported across the country in recent days. Have they now? Oh, God, this is beautiful. The fuss around supplies in food stores is extremely emotional. Oh, is it now? The fuss. Should we go back to the story of the dude bringing food in, helping to get food delivered? This guy delivered in Mariupol. The Greek foreign minister personally escorting food to Mariupol. But meanwhile, the fuss around supplies in food stores is extremely emotional. Russians have absolutely no need to run to the shops and buy up buckwheat, sugar, and toilet paper. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters Friday when asked about reports of panic buying. The fuss around supplies in food stores is extremely emotional, he said. Despite being a net exporter of sugar, prices have risen by more than 15% over the last 2 weeks, according to government statistics. This sounds like the bitching that Fox News does about oil and gas in the United States. It's our oil. Why don't America's oil? Come on now. Shortages have been reported in many cities. Sugar deliveries are going on without interruption, and factories are working round the clock. Agriculture Ministry Dmitry Petrushev told the state-run Rossiya 24 TV channel later Friday. As for the coming season, we are significantly increasing the land dedicated to growing sugar that will allow us to provide enough sugar not only for Russia, but also our partners in the Eurasian Economic Union. That's that extra group that they're talking about. Good luck. You mean to sell to them so you actually have food so that everybody's not in Russia isn't living on sugar cubes and vodka, you fucking lunatic? Yeah, for the next year, as nobody's planting wheat up there this year, either stock up on flour or decide that this next year you're gonna go on a diet. Yeah, in Russia, yeah. My mom, all right, you guys are talking about dogs at this point in the chat room. This happens. There's breakouts that occur. It's okay. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show in any way you can, even if it's just with your eyeballs. Hi, it's the morning show. So we're just laid back. We're just looking at the news. We're checking it out. We're seeing what's up. And then let's see. Let's go back to our trends for the day. Mike Braun. Oh, this is yeah. Just so you know, this is for the he clarifies he misunderstood the question. You think that the question, do you think interracial marriage should be left up to the states? Yes, I do. I misunderstood the question. I thought it was okay for me to answer the way I did. That's how I misunderstood it. I thought that was in the okay to be racist list. Um, today that the Supreme Court should have left the states to decide on interracial marriage law instead of legalizing it. He later clarified. Okay, let's see what he says. Because I'm gonna go out. By the way, on a I'm gonna walk a tightrope on this. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna walk the plank on this, kids. I'm supportive of interracial marriage being legal. I know, nutty. Yeah, and I also believe that if you have rights as Americans, they happen in every state. Your inherent rights are ones that you take with you. They're portable. So you don't have to choose which state to live in based on what rights you want to enjoy. Which is not a conversation about regulations on things. All right, but anyways, GOP Senator Mike Brown suggests states should decide. Okay. Let's see. This was what he's saying. If you're not wanting the Supreme Court to weigh in on issues like that, you're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. That's hypocritical. Stick with interpreting law. Don't legislate from the bench. Braun indicated he was open to rescinding the ruling and others made by justices on the bench over the 7 years in favor of state legislators while discussing with reporters Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination on the Supreme Court. Braun was speaking about how he believed the Roe v. Wade rule to legalize abortion was judicial activism. Which, by the way, I don't want to hear any HIPAA shit from these people. Right? I don't want to hear it. If you're against Roe v. Wade, HIPAA goes out the fucking window. It's about medical privacy. Roe v. Wade affects abortion rights, but it's not about abortion rights. It's about every other piece of privacy, that whether the federal government or not can intervene with your decision with your doctor and to what extent. For the record, Braun said in a statement to a news outlet he misunderstood the reporter's question on interracial marriage. Says there's no question. Okay, was speaking about how he believed the Roe v. Wade was when a reporter asked him whether the same applied to Loving v. Virginia, which legalized interracial marriage, he said yes. I'm sorry. I just assumed Loving v. Virginia was about getting lucky in Kentucky and loving in Virginia, and that it was just that a baby was made and that baby should be forced to be brought to term, no matter what the woman wants. Braun said in a statement to news outlets Tuesday that he misunderstood the reporter's question. Said there's no question the Constitution prohibits discrimination of any kind based on race. That is not something that is even up for debate. Well, sure it is. You might personally believe that, and by the way, the Constitution doesn't prohibit discrimination of any kind based on race. We have amended it to guarantee that. What we're talking about is a codification of one of those amendments that some states didn't want, by the way, that they actively fought against a grandma ago. He added, I condemn racism in any form, at all levels, and by any states, entities, or individuals. Especially those BLM folks. Right, that's the thing. U.S. athletes, you do not have the same rights and privileges in other countries that you have here. I know you've been told that, America is not a free society and that we really do live in, a cross between, 1812 colonial America or constitutional America and a prison colony like on in a space Fruit Loop that lives on the outside of the planet, but we don't. And other countries are draconian and awful in a lot of their rules, and you don't get to sidestep them because you're an American. You'll get in trouble. It's scary, and we need to get her out of there ASAP. Also, you allow yourself to be a bargaining chip in awful places. You become responsible for why an authoritarian or a dictator state will be able to get concessions from the United States or Western allies because of you if you do this. Know the law where you're going is the point. Or don't go. That's the other thing. You don't have to go there. You can go, nah. I'm enjoying my freedoms. Thank you. I would rather not go to some place where there are fewer. See also missionaries in North Korea. Exactly. Don't steal propaganda posters. You're in North Korea. It's not safe. NATO to agree to major increases of troop on the eastern flank. Yeah, that's going to be obvious. I mean, you got Russia threatening to move into Poland, so they'd be stupid not to do it. I misunderstood the question. I thought all judicial law is about abortion at this point. And we just got one of the ways you keep women out of the workforce is you make them have to take care of a baby they never intended to have, especially if it was forced on them by a ne'er do well that we will give a light sentence and parental rights to. G. I find it personally, I find it hard to believe that a lot of the people who are anti-choice, that a good portion of them are not that way specifically because they know that women are more likely to leave the workforce when they have a child to take care of. And even if it means being a ward of the state for themselves and their kid, they will stay with their child rather than get a job, and then they don't have to compete with women in the workplace. That seems like part of this ilk's belief system. That's my opinion. Godspeed. Oh, this is the Manafort thing. This is kind of amazing. He was flying to Dubai from Florida. What's he doing in Florida? Weird. He was in Florida. He was in Miami. Um, Pulled off a plane in Miami. That he was headed to Dubai because his passport has been revoked. I guess that wasn't part of the pardon. No. Amazing. There you go. Former Trump advisor Paul Manafort was removed from a plane at Miami International Airport before it took off for Dubai because he carried a revoked passport. Confirmed that he was removed from the Emirates airline flight without incident, but directed further questions to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The agency did not immediately respond to an email Wednesday seeking comment. A lawyer who is representing Manafort did not immediately return a call, email. Well, he was busy. He was at the passport office. Manafort 72, led former, it was, yeah. Later indicted on a broad array of financial crimes, convicted by a jury, and then he was pardoned. Released from a low-security prison where he was serving more than a 7-year federal sentence amid concerns about the coronavirus in 2020, and then he was pardoned. Key news, let's see. The name of U.S. Customs and Border Protection has been corrected in the story. Okay, because they didn't get the... Hello. I'm the guy who helped Viktor Yanukovych put snipers in bell towers to shoot at protesters in the Euromaidan, which Jimmy Dore and Rusty Rockets both say was a illegal coup orchestrated by America, which is exactly Putin's talking point. But who gives a shit? These guys need to explain why they're such fans of Paul Manafort. Who the fuck? So yeah, there we go. Oh, updates in the world. Oh, I was like, what happened to this giant fat person? It's just they're sandbagging a statue so it doesn't get wrecked, I guess. Um, yeah, this is the crazy part. 7,000 to 15,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in 4 weeks, including like 6 generals. And again, Russia cannot afford to lose these folks. They're already in a demographic tailspin. By way of comparison, Moscow lost about 15 soldiers in Afghanistan over 10 years. America lost, somewhere in the order of, and then, the number being fuzzy, including or not including contractors, however you look at it, about 7,000 some odd for the U.S. in Afghanistan and Iraq over 20 years. Senior NATO official said the alliance's estimate was based on information from Ukrainian officials, what Russia has released, intentionally or not, and intelligence gathered from open sources. Man, OSINT is having its day. Open source intelligence is ginormous these days. You'll get used to seeing that phrase a lot more too. So here I'll show you what I mean. So you'll see these like people using the phrase OSINT, right? That's open source intelligence. This is stuff that's available from Google Maps and satellites and constant like and webcams and traffic cams and stuff like that. That's just always around. Putin's envoy Anthony Chubais has resigned from the Kremlin and left. Oh, that's his climate envoy. Putin ally Gennady Timchenko has resigned from Novitek. Russian state news TASS military correspondent Gleb Israel resigned over the war with Ukraine. Yeah, there's a bunch of people moving out. Oh, this is one of the helicopters that was shot. It had get in here. There you go. It had been fired. Why is it not playing back? It's weird. Just frozen. It gets hit with something and then lands in this field. Allegedly gets hit. By the way, yeah, I don't necessarily. There's a point where it goes wait, 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 or any of that stuff where you hear an alarm, but they do get out and look for cover. That could very well just be a landing. This is allegedly Putin's boat because the only people on it are his personal security team. From other sources, dates are okay. These are the Chechens, I think, getting off there. A bunch of them have died. They're getting pissed. Oh, look at this. Kremlin disinfo around Ukrainian civilian deaths and injuries being crisis actors continues. I mean, this is where have we seen this before, Alex Jones? Who has suggested these people aren't really? It's what at this point I would be shocked if Putin just didn't call this Operation Sandy Hook. The tactical propaganda move. Plane spotting websites are a great source of intel. Russian aircraft using fly Chechens from Grozny to Mariupol. Pictured here. There you go. Let's see. Damage in Mariupol. This is the Google Earth stuff where they check before and after because houses are gone. Okay, this is anyways. Another great collection of useful OSINT links built on our. Okay, these are all people trying to play to do. Russian MOD released photos of downed Bayraktar TB2 drone near Kyiv. And did they buy one from Turkey and just dump it? Ukrainian intelligence are interrogating the individuals who had Green Lantern hanging from his window to signal his position. The other was taking photos of key sensitive positions, checkpoints. Note that one of them is a Russian citizen. Right. They've been talking about having saboteurs among them and stuff. And then obviously, A, it's not working, and B, that's a big part of the Russian strategy. Heavy fighting in Mariupol continues. Most important question for the next week: will OPFOR victory in Mariupol set enough forces free to reinforce other fronts? No. It seems that OPFR needs another operational pause to regroup and resupply. Won't happen. I'm just calling it. Oh. Contrary to previous reports, Canadian sniper Wally is still alive, and as a previous reported, he's a legend with the Sako TRG-42. This is the guy who flew there. He's like one of the highest kill counts in the world or something like that. It feels like he's going there just to increase his record by shooting Russians. It's like they're giving him a free play field. It's weird. Captured the USS Miguel Keith, the SB-5, and the Burke class destroy. Oh, these are boats. Okay. So this account is run by a teenager in his bedroom and not some incredible story. I see. What? Cat. What is it? Is that you, Chud? It is? Oh no. What? What? Yeah? Well, come here. Well, what's going on? Hold on. Let me check on Chud. What are you doing? I'm doing a show. You have something to say? Go see everybody. You want to say hello? You do? All right. Chud needs to see everybody. There she is. Hi. Oh, gosh. There she is. Yeah. You're fine. Yeah. What's happening, Chud? She just needs some love. She's like, where is everybody? Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Everybody. Well, I was down here doing a show. I know I'm not normally in here making all this noise, so it might be throwing you off. You'll get used to it. Yeah? There she is. Yeah, there we go. The Ukrainian forces defeated a Russian command post, found this map on a Russian officer, used OCR optical character recognition. Okay. Yeah, you guys, these guys need to start eating their maps or something. There you go. You guys, the trolls don't actually think anybody buys the Ukraine's the aggressor, um, that by stopping RT, they're stifling free speech or any of that shit, do you? Like, this is an active war zone. You do recognize that, right? By a country that was attacked, that they have active saboteurs in the fucking country. Guys, they're like, you know, what's next? They're gonna go after makeup tutorials on YouTube. There will be no free speech left in Ukraine. If there are any buildings left, get fucked with that nonsense. I mean, but thank you for telling us who you are as a person. I guess that's really what goes on. Because if you recognize it, whether it's trolls or whether it's, people who are there, you have, I think most people know that what they write in a chat room or what they say online is more just an indication of character than anything else. And uh it just lets everybody know who you are, what your priorities are, what your belief system is, what you think is, a hill worth dying on, what you think is worth fighting for. It's interesting as it rolls by. Yeah. Hi, Chad. I know. Hello. Hello, little. There you go. Chin scratches. Chin scratches for Chad. Hi. Is that too much? I mean, you're shedding all over me. And no, don't get on the desk, please. Thank you. Russian naval deployment in the Mediterranean on the morning of March 19th is reported by OSINT. Russian cruisers operating. Yeah, this has been going on for a while. This is what they've got. That people have spotted, anyways. What? Supervisor mentor a letter of recommendation request. Me applying for scholarship for cybersecurity. Black Sea satellite. Okay, this is all like people spotting ships and other stuff in there. Joint Ukrainian police and SBU operation to individuals suspected of being Russian spies informants arrested in Kiev. No ID found on them. Phone connected to Russia. Video recorder. Crazy. Hmm. Oh, since featuring it again, pilots. Oh, this was the other story too. We didn't really cover this. The Chinese plane crash. Holy hell! Just fell straight out of the sky. Wait, why vote no? What's happening? It's just everything gets eaten for a while. Hold on. By 58, they support them. I assume Ron Johnson, Mike Lee, Marco Rubio, all of them will vote no. Perhaps real money should be spent to highlight their votes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, she's going to go through, and there might be some that are that are trying to politicize their vote one way or another. Hi, no, you can't get up on the desk, Judd. Don't get up on the desk. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Would you like to get down? Is that what you want? Yeah. Would you like to get down? Get up and get down. Wet cat food is a joke in your town. All right, go for it. Oh, there you go. Hold on. I gotta lower her down. A Chip, I can just kind of go like this and he'll jump to the floor. Chud needs a little assistance. Yeah. Oh God. And look at this. The cat hair. Good Lord. Hold on. It's time for an OnlyFans moment. Whoops. It's nice that I also say thank you very much. It's nice to have a situation where we've got a big enough crowd in the morning show by itself that we actually have trolls in here. We didn't even in the beginning, we just this was the regular show. Of course, we have them, but this is kind of yeah. Cue the porn music. Yep. Thank you, Doyle. Where's the pole? No dancing. Yeah, that's true. I've been seducing my mom's cat with smoked Gouda and it's working. I do not envy the litter box problem later, though. Can you provide a definition of the word woman? No, I can't. You can't? I'm not a biologist. Right. That's not her job either. Also, again, adult human female. We've talked about that. John Cornyn is what he's going to do? Pretend he's not going to vote for it? Why is this not playing? It's weird. Hmm. Yeah, weird. No one suggests that a 20-year-a-week-old female can live independently outside the mother's womb, do they? Says John Cornyn. No one suggests that a 20-week-old. Senator, I'm not a biologist. Right. That's not going to be in front of her. But they want it to be because they do want to legislate from the bench. They just want to make sure it's their group that does it. Yeah, this is all back and forth about whether they asked Amy Coney Barrett that and blah blah blah. Former Trump this is Manafort. Yeah. Oh right. And former President Donald Trump withdrew his support for Mo Brooks, the dude who wore a bulletproof vest on January 6th. Oops. Sorry, dum dum. I mean, that is your that's your loyalty measure. There is none. Trump dumps woke Mo Brooks for saying he should get over 2020. This was in the Alabama rally that we covered. He brought this up on stage and was like, we have to move past it. He got booed for bringing it up. Made a horrible mistake calling for people to get over the 20. And typical and vindictive, very sad. Blasted Brooks for telling attendees at the yeah, that's right. This is the one we were talking about. He blasted Brooks for telling attendees at an Alabama rally to move on from Trump world's relentless grievances over 2020, referring to the 2020 presidential election scam. Put that behind you. Put that behind you. Trump fumed. Brooks said, which is true. The 2020 election was rigged, and we can't let them get away with that. Claiming Brooks' unstoppable lead in the Senate race had disappeared because of his comments. Brooks made the comments way back in August. He nevertheless hit back on Wednesday, insisting it was Trump, not him, who had changed. It's disappointing that, okay, the same thing. Mitch McConnell manipulating again. Every single negative TV ad against her campaign has come from McConnell and his allies. I wish Trump wouldn't fall for McConnell's ploys, but once again he has. Oh, it's so good. Popcorn. I'm gonna have to go out and get popcorn. Just gonna have to. Almost done with the morning show, by the way. A couple more minutes. I've got to. When I'm done, I have to take my camera over to Summer. She's working today, and they're gonna film her her show to like get a good overview of how it's going so far. It's called Ladylike, and it's a burlesque style dance review that uses like old like TV ads about what it means to be a lady and how they were redefined, how what it means to be a lady was redefined over time. It's pretty great. I mean, it's amazing. I don't want to fawn too much. It's my girl. She's super talented. In a speech at a rally before Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, Brooks told them to start taking down names and kicking ass. Right. That's why he's distancing himself. Yeah, I love this. I don't give a shit. And again, and typically videos twice speech videos are very sad. Who was accused of helping to organize Stop Steal rally had decided to go in a different direction. Yeah, Mo Brooks was casting Trump as his hero, and they decided to go with someone younger and slimmer. It's sad. Oh, happy birthday, Joanna. Yeah, Metal Chick, don't call people that. Yeah, we have bigger vocabularies than that. We don't have to resort to that kind of stuff. How'd the prop turn out? It turned out great. Thanks for asking, Stargal. And oh my gosh, there it is. Joanna Ruiz Ortiz. Thank you so much. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Hey. Does that go up on there? Hold on. Add broadcast. There you go. I'm gonna have to put these like this and then shrink them down so that they stay on the screen. This is probably as big as most of them get. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Johanna. Happy birthday to you. All right. Here we go. We're gonna go back to the thank you. Hold on. Whoops. Let's try to take this guy. I have to move this over. There you go. By the way, if you're a troll, don't forget to give a thumbs down or write something negative about the show, please. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for typing something in the chat and letting the algorithm know that I have your attention and you can't detach your brain and your eyeballs from my show. It really helps. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not being ironic at all. I genuinely mean it. Hold on. I'm finishing this update, and then we'll go. I'm going to install that update, and then there you go. And yeah, at this rate, I might even be able to run my show out here when I'm home alone and I'm not worried about the noise. Agree, agree. Install, fingerprint, start. Okay, there we go. Yes, I get it. Thank you. Close. The installation was successful. Terrific. Right, and then I gotta okay. Oh my God, two-step verifications on everything. Good Lord. Bert, thank you. Sorry, Coretta, thank you for the the Cash App gift, and thank you Bonnie, and thank you Daniel for the coffee. Appreciate it. Coretta's the reason why we even have this, because she's the one who pushed me to do this. Oh yes, I forgot yesterday was Monday. Today is, or sorry, yesterday. Today is Wednesday. Jesus, the days are blazing by. Uh-oh. Yesterday, 5:44. I'm getting one of those, like, check your email. There's a show thing to do. This happens sometimes. Damn it, I'm glad to have you back on the show. Remember you've on the show last night. Please know Wednesday, March 30th. Okay, cool. Okay, excellent. There you go. Okay, cool. I'm getting like podcast invites these days because the show is gaining ground. So it's turning into a something. I like it. I mean, we're a ways off before, I'm a true contender. So important. There we go. Yes, I understand. And then we type this in here. We go. There you go. Don't ask again on this device. Thank you. So much busyness. Okay, it's good. Okay. Allow. Thank you, Dad. There we go. All right. My stream deck is set up on that guy. It's crazy pants. Excellent. Okay. Look at that. All right, now I've got to dismantle my camera and take it to my girlfriend so she can use it to film her show. So I've got to sign off on the show, and I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you at this afternoon show in the regular setup in the other room. And then as we continue going forward, I might do the morning show more often out here, at least when, everybody's out of the house, so I'm not waking people up who need to sleep in, because we all work nights in this household. So peace and be wild. And let's see, I think I have to trigger some out the door music. So, and then turn that down so that it doesn't go back. You guys don't have to hear that. There we go. It's pretty loud, so I'm gonna bring that down a bit. There we go. And thanks for joining me for the morning show. It's a good time. This is, hopefully this will be a recurring thing where we can move it out here. Have a little more room to stretch out, move around. If I need to run and get a cat, doesn't entail weaving my way through wires and around things. It's just easier. But at the very least, I will see you guys this afternoon for HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Our regular show at 3 o'clock Pacific time. A good solid 2 hours of chipping away at the madness. Just chipping away. And I will try and not get too riled by the KBJ hearings today, so that we're in good humor when we're doing the show. So, because aggravation, when it peaks the meter anyways, can be the enemy of comedy, I think. You have to keep your good humor about you. I think it's crucial. So, regardless, I will see you guys later on. Take care of yourself. and take care of somebody else. I think I have an end. Do I have an ending screen? I think I do. Let's see if I do. Maybe not. How about this guy? Sure, that works. That'll do in this circumstance. All right, bye. See you later.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
It's good to be the king.
Groovy. Groovy. Groovy.
I think you're some kind of deviated prevert.
He's you real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Beef jerky? Oh, no, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
God. Sorry. I've farted.
sit there and bleed a while before you taste some real pain.
So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
Nice. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
Michigan gave us Motang.